I think Grayson McCall may have told a local reporter that when he went to the portal, he might have heard from UCLA. Did you have any contact with him?
We talked to Grayson at some point in time. Most of that stuff, it's progress towards degree and what classes match up and all that, and it didn't get much farther than the academic part. So.
Okay. Speaking of quarterbacks, here are we with UCLA starting quarterback?
UCLA starting quarterback on Saturday will be Ethan Garbers. But Colin Schlee and Dante Moore will also play. So all three of them will play on Saturday.
Wow. So tell us about the decision and then going with three different quarterbacks.
All three of them deserve to play. They've all played outstanding. It's been a really good battle with those guys. Healthy competition, and they all have earned playing time. So, but Ethan will take the first snap. Ethan has the most experience in our offense. So Ethan will start the game, but you'll see Colin and you'll also see Dante.
How will you divide the playing time? How will you decide?
We'll figure that out by the end of the week.
I remember you saying the guy who was going to start was going to be the one who set himself apart. What was it about Ethan other than his experience?
It's all three of those guys are together, but someone has to take the first snap. So, Ethan's been here the longest in our system, so that's why Ethan started.
Have you ever had that, a three quarterback system in a game going into that?
No.
Unprecedented?
Nope. But they deserve it. So, I mean, it's the only fair way to do it in terms of how those guys have played and progressed here through spring and through the fall. So,
what kind of jump did Colin make from the spring that really put him in the mix?
I don't think he made any jump. I thought he was outstanding in the spring also. So I'm confused with the jump because I don't think he was behind anybody at any point in time during this whole thing. So.
You're going to have three quarterbacks play going forward. I'm assuming you would like for one of them to be your quarterback, or are you open to keep
trying to beat Coastal Carolina? Okay. That's our plan. So our plan going into this game is to play against a really good Coastal Carolina team that obviously with Grayson McCall, one of the top returning quarterbacks in the country, and a really good football team. There are some unknowns because it's a brand new coaching staff, so new coordinators in all three phases, offensively, defensively, and special teams. So, but our sole focus is just on this Saturday.
Tell us some about the things about Dante Moore that you've seen that are kind of special that you'd like to see, let's say, in a game situation that could really...
Yeah, I think his repetitive accuracy in terms of throwing the football, he's outstanding at that. I think he's a really good decision maker. But he's never been in a game for us, so I've never seen that. There's a difference for especially quarterbacks in practice than in games. In practice, they're not getting hit. In games, they are going to get hit. So you obviously, it's a different... I'm excited about what he can do because he's shown great poise, great grasp of what we do offensively. Very accurate thrower, very calm. He doesn't get worked up. He's got a real good demeanor about how to play quarterback. So we're really excited about that. And, to come in as a true freshman and earn playing time as a true freshman is a credit to him in terms of what we believe his talent is, and he's shown it since he's been here. So,
how many situations have you been in where there's a player's kind of a gamer? He goes into a game and he really shows something in the game.
Zero.
That you don't necessarily see in zero.
Zero.
Okay.
That's I think one of the biggest misconceptions is that you sink to your level of training. So there's no one I've ever been around that just has been awful in practice, and then you put them in a game. Because the first reason, if they're awful in practice, you're not putting them in a game.
Not necessarily awful, but goes beyond what maybe you saw in practice.
I don't. I haven't seen that. It's like you see it in practice, especially the way we practice. We get so many reps and so many things that, I don't think there's going to be something that any of those guys do that's going to surprise you. Like, wow, I didn't think you could do that, because we get so many different scenarios out here on the practice field, so you can make a real good evaluation. So we don't subscribe to the gamer concept. We subscribe to that's how they train.
How much of I wouldn't say a concern, but a thought process going into Dorian Thompson-Robinson had a talent for extending plays, for using his legs, that you might possibly lose some of that element without him?
Yeah, he's not here, so we don't think of it that way. But I think Colin can do the same thing, and Dante and Garbs can do the same thing. All three of those guys run over 20 miles an hour, so they're in the same ballpark speed-wise as Dorian is. It's just, Dorian had a real special quality that way. But we don't sit there and go, wow, when we had Dorian, we did this. We don't have Dorian. And he had an unbelievable career here and set a ton of records, and we're happy for him and not surprised by the success that he's having in Cleveland right now. But now you got to go to the next wave, and with these guys. It is a unique situation, but they deserve to play, and it's the only fair way to do it. They're all competing at a really, really high level. To say, all right, we're just going to pick him, and the other two guys got to sit. That's just not the way it shook out. And we said we were going to have this. It was going to be organic, and it was going to be authentic, and that's what it is right now. And those guys are well comfortable with it.
A while back, you mentioned, Coastal obviously as a defensive coordinator. Just what are you guys expecting out of their defense?
You look at the history of where he's been, and they have co-coordinators, so where they came from, and try to just do your background research on what their base stuff is. But we looked at all the Coastal stuff from last year because, what are they doing with their personnel and how does that match with what the new coordinators do? So, there's a lot of different film study that goes on, but we'll know for sure at 7:35 on Saturday.
Darius said only one hamstring pull in all of camp. Is that accurate, and how is that unusual?
Who said that?
Darius Musau. He said only one hamstring, because I was asking about the conditioning and all that stuff, and he said there was only one hamstring pull in all of camp.
It wasn't him, was it?
I don't know.
Because if it was, he didn't say anything about it.
But I guess his point was everybody's in great shape, and the conditioning staff did a great job of getting everybody ready.
They did. Yeah, they did. And we have, I think our guys, they came to camp in shape. They worked extremely hard here throughout the whole off season with KB and what those guys are doing there. And it showed for us, the intensity of our training sessions and what we could get out of our players, their ability to recover very fast and recover quickly, told you what type of shape they're in. So, we're excited about finally getting to play someone else on Saturday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Thanks.